Today's guest is a friend and a writer whose book is ready to go, ready to be published, and ready to get that query letter. Yeah, let's do this. She's got all the talent, but none of those pesky deadlines yet. So as soon as she gets that response, we'll get that started. I want to hear all about how it all started and does the creative side run in the family. We're going to talk about the weird stuff family does, how writing may help with those situations and get us through it, and probably go on a few crazy tangents. Because let's be real, that's kind of what we do. Let's dive into another honest, unfiltered, and totally relatable conversations. Family Dynamic Conversations, where families and stories come in all shapes and sizes. I come from a family of 12. You may be an only child. What matters is caring, sharing, and finding ways to relate to one another. So, welcome to Family Dynamic Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Janice Kingsbury, and thank you for joining me today. And I'm very happy to welcome my friend Shelley Logan to the podcast. How you doing, Shelley?
I am good. This is my first time doing one of these, so I'm pretty excited. I'm a little like, okay, what happens here? But
right?
Yeah.
I know. It's a little jittery every time I start too, but it ends up being a lot of fun.
No, I feel like it's talking. Just rolling. So
yeah.
But Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. Alrighty. So we'll start with how many are in your family and what number are you in that family?
Just myself and my brother, and I'm the oldest by about 3 years. Yeah. 2.5, 3 years, I think we are, something like that.
And you grew up where?
In Santa Ana, California. I was born in Bellevue, Washington, but moved down here when I was about 6 weeks old. My dad was in the Navy, so moved from Bellevue, lived in San Francisco briefly, and then he was stationed, I believe, at Miramar in San Diego. So lived down there for a few years, but then moved to Santa Ana, and that's where I stayed there.
Nice. So you've had the wonderful Southern California weather all your life, which is pretty nice.
It makes me a really, really big baby when it comes to anything less than like 50 degrees, and when it gets wet, I'm not good.
What is happening?
Yeah, both my parents grew up in Alaska, so they weren't too sympathetic to us complaining when it got cold.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they were raised in Alaska?
They both were, yeah. Both born in Seattle, up in Alaska. My dad was raised mostly in Ketchikan. My mom moved several different places. I think my grandpa was in construction or something. Built a lot of the big federal buildings up there. So they moved a lot. My dad was mostly in Ketchikan, which is how they met. They went to high school, I think, for a while, then separated, then met up again later. So
that's so fun. And have you ever been up to Alaska?
I have a few times. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
It's like
families up there?
I do. I have my aunt lives up there. I'm not really close to her, but all my cousins, aunt, uncle, cousin, my dad's side, they all stayed up there. My grandpa, my dad's dad lived up there for a long time. My favorite trip there was visiting them in Ketchikan because I loved that. That town was the best. Yeah.
When's the last time you were there?
We were there, probably about 22 years ago. We went up there to visit my brother and wife. I remember Ryder, my oldest, he was 6. He was in kindergarten. Took him up there. They lived on a lake. It was super fun. I was glad. My uncle passed away like a year after that.
Oh.
I was glad I got to see him, before that all happened. But so were never like vacations like people take them now. It was going to visit family,
That's wild. I had never met anyone whose family was from there, so that's great.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part about Alaska that you liked?
It's so big. It's huge. And it's just clean. And when I was up there, it was 22 years ago. I know a lot more people have moved out there, and we were in the Anchorage area, which is like their big city, which really not that big. I just remember it was always a little unexpected. Like you would be on a road, and just because it said it was a highway didn't mean it was going to be paved. It was those sort of adventures. And it's like first time I was in Anchorage, I think I was a freshman in high school, and you could still drive through Denali, so we went kind of just a modified trip through there. See like moose and bears side of the road, so it's kind of I love animals, so seeing those animals in the wild was always something I remembered. So
that's so cool.
But it's beautiful up there. It's just it's like it's definitely still wild. It's really beautiful.
And you said you have two children?
2 sons. One just turned 28, and the other one is 30.
Nice.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Like that. It just goes.
Yeah. I don't know how that happens.
I know. Memories fade. You're like, wait, how old are you? No, it's
exactly.
Not
I'm like, I'm not that old. I'm not old enough to have a 30-year-old and a 28-year-old.
Right. And does your brother live close by?
He lives up in Oregon now.
Oregon, okay.
Yeah, he lives. Gosh, where did he? Not like a farmhouse. I want to say he lives near the University of Oregon.
Okay.
That's at the Ducks. I think he owns a couple pizza places up there. I was excited to move there. I knew it was a move that he and his family wanted to make for a long time, so I was glad they found out to do it. He's
nice.
Been away. He's moved a lot, and his wife has infinite patience and just goes. But he's a bit more of the adventurous that way. He's definitely more entrepreneurial, not good working for other people. So, in words, he doesn't follow orders very well. So,
Dad did enough of that in the Navy. I don't need to do that.
That's when we always joke. The image of our family, like going on back on my dad's side, my grandpa did a family tree before he died. My dad's dad, and we went way back, and all of us were seafaring in some way. They were either Navy, shipbuilders, all this other stuff that died with my brother and I, because neither of us did it taking orders.
And it's done.
It's done. No more military on that side of the family.
Well, your sons are still young. We don't know what direction they're going to take in 10, 20 years.
Yeah, I don't see that for either of them either.
Don't see them getting a sailboat, nothing on the water.
I don't think so. No, I mean, maybe Ryder, my older one, he kind of was like that. But yeah, no, not so much. They don't mind going out on them. Neither one of us really showed interest in owning one. My brother might.
But you were saying that your brother eventually might, possibly?
I thought he might when he was younger. I don't think he will now, but he would have been the one to do it. My friend teases me because my irrational fears of cruise ships, they're just so big. How do they stay afloat? Like, it freaks me out. I'm like, I'm fine if I'm on one, but I don't want to walk next to one. And she's like, yeah, no, you have to walk right next to him to get on. I'm like, then I'm not doing it. No. Mm-mm.
I need a helicopter to just drop me onto the deck.
Exactly.
Well, I used to work for the cruise industry, so I loved cruising until COVID hit, and then it was like, I don't know if I'll ever get on a ship again.
That
even bigger and even more people and even bigger city areas. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, some of those, they just kind of freak me out for that reason. I don't know. There's just something that big that's floating in water. No. And I saw Poseidon Adventure when I was a kid. That might have messed me up too.
Yeah, that's funny because I never thought about that working for the cruise industry, but I did see that movie.
Oh, good thing that was out of your mind. Yeah.
Yes, I took my mother on a cruise. I've been to a cruise to Alaska, the Caribbean, and so it was really enjoyable. The fact that you can eat, drink, and sleep and not have to drive anywhere. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially when they drop you off in a port and you get to go and visit this place and no, you don't have to look for a hotel. You just get off and check it out and then get back on the ship.
Yeah. I mean, I know plenty of people who have enjoyed it a lot, and I've had I imagine if I was going to go with one of my friends, just like one of those like booze cruises down to Mexico one time, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know. I still think someone would have to put blinders on me to walk me past the boat.
We're watching a show now called Destination X, and they have to wear these goggles so that when they get off the bus, they can't see around them or where they're at, and they're supposed to figure out where they're at. And so then the cameras just turn off, and then they can see, and then they take their goggles off. But I can see that helping you.
It might help me. It could. Until I'm on there, and I'm like, I don't know.
Are we moving?
We'll see. Okay. Yeah, exactly. We'll see. I've taken a boat out to Catalina before. That was fine. But
oh yeah, wow. Well, but that's not half as. Yeah, it's maybe the 10th the size of a cruise ship.
Exactly. Yeah, I can handle that. So it wasn't like I get seasick or anything. I was fine. But yeah, just I don't know. Just not my thing.
That's not. It's okay. It's really okay. All right, so let's get into what sparked the creative juices and writing for you. When did that all start?
Gosh, I've been doing it for a long time. I've always been a reader. My mom was a reader. She'd always give me books, and I was reading like fairly mature level reading when I was a kid. I was reading like Stephen King when I was, 11, 12 years old. I read Gone with the Wind. I think I was at that age. And so I've always been a reader, and I just would jot little stories down. I guess they call it fan fiction now. At the time, I would just like read a book or see a movie, and I would write a little story about a character I liked and stuff like that. So
that's a great idea.
Kind of always done it.
Yeah.
Didn't think it would be anything. Didn't really show it to other people until later in life, when I just started doing it and found like, oh, okay, I guess I can do this.
And when did the actual book start? When did you start writing the book?
The one I finished now started, it was probably 2019. I went to London for the first time. Only time so far. No, and I fell in love with it. Like, I loved it. I didn't want to come home. And I just started like a story I had in mind, and I just got it going. And then during COVID, I had nothing but time. I was one of those people that COVID benefited because I had no distractions. I had no excuses. And you too. Yeah. I feel like it benefited us writer types or artist types because you had no excuse. You're not really sure anything was there. I had been a part of a workshop group years ago for another one I'd written, and they kind of destroyed my confidence. It wasn't a good fit at all. And so I didn't write again for a long time. And, or I would write, but I just wasn't sharing it with people. I didn't tell anyone I was doing it.
Yeah.
And, my good friend who I've known since, high school is also a writer, and she invited me to join the workshop group she was in and wasn't so sure. Yeah. And I told her that, and so she told them, because I wrote, it's essentially a love story, and a lot of people turn their noses up at those. A lot of your serious writers, they do. It's weird. And
I bet.
It's a hugely popular genre, but everybody turns their nose up at it. It's like very strange.
Yeah.
We could go into the finer point of sexism there, because I think that is because it's a female-generated, female-centric genre written by a lot of women for a female audience, and that tends not to be taken very seriously.
Which is kind of pathetic, because men are the ones that benefit from us wanting to fall in love, be a part of their lives, and thinking just to get swept away in a whole love story like that. You would think they'd want to be a part of that.
I laugh at that because I'm like, if you want to know what women want, I mean, some of them are okay, some no woman really wants that guy. But
Sure.
it's a fun fantasy. But there's ones where it's legit. We're writing about a guy, some writer that put a quote on Instagram one time, and I wish I could remember it, but it was basically like women's main fantasy is a guy who'll listen to them or something like that. It's true. A lot of it is these men who listen. I feel like you can learn a lot from these female writers and what the good male characters are in them. And
Yes.
it's sure, they're always hot, they're always good in bed, but there's also the whole, they're nice, they listen to you, they're there for you, they're ride or die. Men who scoff at that, you should learn from it a little bit.
We have to look at your family history, buddy, because normally
the problem with that you might be the problem. But
right. And they don't want to dive into
no. But the group she got me in was, they were great. We three of us still meet regularly, and they were offered constructive criticism and opinions and the kind of stuff you want. And they really inspired me to go, wow, I might have something here. And awesome. So I spent that period of time. I think I finished it in October 2022, and the first drafts. And then I lost my job in 2023, January. So I was like, well, I have 6 months of unemployment. I'm going to use it. And I did.
That's fantastic.
So I just took the time and was like, let's do our rewrites. Let's do the editing. Let's do all that. And got a full story. You have a lot to learn when you're trying to get into the publishing industry about a lot of the
congratulations first. Let's just start there.
Thank you.
You finished your book. I applaud that tremendously. Oh my gosh, just to come to an ending for me is tough. So well done you.
Thank you. It was a journey, because once you delve into the professional side,
yeah. Did you find it challenging you said you lost your job, so that gave you that 6 months. Did you find it challenging to sit down at the computer every day or your iPad or laptop and scribble stuff out? Or was it just such an easy flow? You sat down, you go, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm going to go this way. And it just flowed for you.
It did. It flowed. By the time the end, I remembered what I wanted to change about, what is it people say, that the first draft is learning the story. Like, you're just telling yourself the story. And then by the time I got to the end, I was like, oh, now I want to change this and that. And so I felt like I knew what I wanted to do with it. And so I made God bless them, my workshop group reread that book.
Good.
After I did all that. And
it's really nice.
It's very helpful to get the input, and especially since they'd read one iteration of it, and to read the next one.
Now, these people in the workshop, are they already published authors, or some published, some not published?
No, I don't think any of them have published books.
Okay.
One of them has finished a couple of books at this point and has just been shopping them. My friend who got me into it, she just finished her first draft of this one. And then our other one, we keep nagging him that he has to keep working because he hasn't turned anything in a while. But he's great. His stuff is so good. We're all just eager to see more. But so we're more of an accountability group for each other at this point, which is nice, because that, right? Writers need some accountability. So it's very helpful. So
that's really cool. Do you think there was a best piece of advice that you got from anybody to either inspire you or to keep you accountable, or something that just was I should remember that every time I sit down to write? Any advice?
Just don't try to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. Your rough draft is a rough draft, and you think when you do it, you're like, this is perfect, it's so great. No, it's not.
Right.
You got to go back and rework things. So to any of us who are super fixated on making that first draft perfect, that just doesn't happen. I imagine it does. There's probably rare, if
I
someone
wouldn't
does
know.
it. I wouldn't either. But yeah, there's some you hear that have banged something out or and managed to make it great the first time, but I just don't think that's. And so by the time you get to the end, you go, oh, this is what I want to change. This is what so yeah, don't be perfect. That was the big thing.
Yeah.
It's just, you're going to just make yourself crazy and it's not going to be perfect. So
Yeah, I found it interesting. I think it's great that you had that block of time, because I feel like with my life, it's been work has always been there. I've had to work. And even when COVID hit, the company said, okay, everybody stays home. So 2-3 weeks passed by. Maybe it was 4. But then I got a call and it was like, either you come back in at this time or you don't have a job.
Oh, shit.
So I was like, oh, okay.
That's
so
early in the process.
Yeah, it was really early in the process.
Yeah.
But there was a situation where you could be in the building and everybody would wear masks and you wouldn't have to be real close proximity to anyone. And then anyone coming to pick their stuff up, or it would just be shipped out, kind of thing. So after COVID hit and they said you stay home, that's when I thought, okay, I can get back to what I started a while ago and really dive into it, which I did for, like I said, a couple of weeks. And then it was like back to work. So the stress level went up and you get your 32 hours of a week. And it was like, okay, now I got to set aside time to write. And it's so exhausting that I couldn't finish it. And then life just keeps happening that way and new things come into your life and you're like, it's not that big a deal. I don't, I'd rather be a grandparent than writing the book or whatever. But I think it would be really important to one day just invest time in it and get myself away to really, but see, then there's the problem of I'd have to go back and read the whole thing over. Remember what the whole thing, what I was going for. But when I did reread a few times, I thought, oh, this is pretty interesting. I really like what I wrote, but yeah, it's the first draft and can't be perfect and it won't be perfect. And perfectionism is tough.
That was another good piece of advice I've seen is like, visit it every day. Even if you write 2 or 3 words, at least you're still, because after a while, you become a little detached and you forget where you were going. And so I've noticed if I make sure I was going in it every day, even if I was just reading something or whatever, it kept me more engaged in doing it. Yeah,
good idea.
Life gets in the way, so.
That's true. It just sets time aside, Janice. So let's talk about this. You never did get an editor. Is that what you told me?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. And did you look into getting an editor?
I did a little bit, and then I didn't even know how to pick one. I was mostly looking for beta readers. That turned out to be really hard as well, because that's when I realized my word count was a bit high, and finding beta readers to read something over 100,000 words was really hard.
Wow.
And that's also
didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't either. And that's also an important thing when you're querying and all that. I learned that lesson too.
How does that affect the query?
Agents will look at your word count and say too many words. I guess the more words there's the more pages, the more of a cost for them. So if you're a new author, their willingness to invest in you is somewhat limited. I finally had one agent after querying. I didn't do a lot of querying the first time. I did maybe 10, 15 agents maybe. And only one of them, it's a lot of work. There was only one who actually got back to me and said, your word count is too high for a contemporary romance. Even though I call it more of a women's fiction / contemporary romance. But even women's fiction, you don't want more than 90. Mine was 138. So.
Okay. Wow.
Which is
quite an accomplishment, if you ask me.
I'm
at like 75,000 words, and I'm thinking, how did I get all that in there? But Now when you're saying you want to
yeah,
stick to about 90.
you're probably good. And it just, I had to go in and I shaved about 32,000 words out of it.
Wow.
Which it was a lot of just going in and going, does this chapter need to be her? I got rid of one character because the character really wasn't necessary.
Wow.
And had to take a few chapters out and just tighten it. I'm just doing line edits right now on my own just to pick at it a little bit, but because the querying process. But there is, word count matters. It
so
does.
Not hiring an editor, you went on your own and did these query letters. Now that takes a little bit of knowledge too, right? You have to, it's got to be set in a certain way, typed in a certain way, set on the page a certain way, and only so many letters. True?
It is, but all the agents are different. Like I used, what's it called? Query Tracker. And through Query Tracker, there's Query Manager. And a lot of agents just want that. So you go to Query Manager and you input what they require. And they're all different.
Interesting.
Most of that, though, you're not really submitting a letter. You're just copying. You have a little bit of wiggle room there.
Oh, okay.
Because no one's going to go, oh, it's 2 pages. They're not going to know. You're copying and pasting. But that I learned. But I did Googled a lot of them. Like it's a very, agents are all, like what they're looking for is varied. And if you're looking into a certain agent, you have to be really thorough in what they're looking for. What do they want? And they'll break it down for you. They want a query letter. They want the first 10 pages maybe. And so the main thing is to just understand what they want before you start and see what they're interested in. Don't submit your romance novel to an agent who's not accepting romance novels. Like that kind of thing.
Got it.
So,
okay, so do your research a little bit.
Do your research, for sure.
So tell us about your book. Tell us about your story.
I called it Better Than Fine. Better Than Fine.
Okay.
And it's basically about a girl who goes to England with her 2 best friends, and they kind of bail on her and take a side trip with one best friend's future sister-in-law. And my character isn't really invited. But she doesn't really want to go either. So it starts off with bumps in the road of female friendships, which at this age, my character's like 30 years old, and one friend's married, one's engaged, my character is not. So I think that when you get to a certain age as a woman, that happens to your friend groups. So while they're gone, she meets this guy who's she thinks is a bartender. He turns out to be a model at the bar, and kind of starts hanging out with him, and he's a nice guy. Fall in bed together, have a good time, and then realize they're kind of into each other. Let's stay in touch. And she doesn't tell her friends because she knows they're going to be judgy about it. She kind of starts this relationship with him without them really knowing. She's just not ready to share it with them, which says a lot about their friendship, really. And and is getting married, and she's the maid of honor for her. So it's just kind of their journey of being in your friend's wedding while at the same time feeling like you're maybe being pushed out of her life a little bit, and also you can't share your own life. So having to find your way through that road with your friends. Is the friendship more important than that? Like, which one do you want to put the most work into? So
that's cool.
As someone who's had a falling out with friends before, I feel like a lot of that stuff doesn't really get written about.
No, but it's very relatable. Every female can relate to that.
Exactly.
I think.
I mean, we've all, especially at that age, you break off into different directions in your life, and sometimes you just lose touch.
Well, the more you learn about yourself, the more you want to explore different avenues and figure out what you're all about. So sometimes that brings the friends along, and sometimes it's like, okay, stop.
And sometimes your life changes.
Great.
I have to work on my pitch better, though.
Again, I think you know your audience, and I think you know that that audience can relate. And there's really not much more that you need to say because there's so many women that have experienced that. It's just a matter of, like you say, getting that promotion out there where people go, "Yes, tell me more. Let me find you. Let me find the book." Hello again.
We're
So,
back.
as technology is, technology does. And we've revamped and restarted, and we're going to continue on here with Shelley Logan.
With two different camera
There
angles
we go.
and filters and the whole work. So this is unfiltered.
I wanted to ask you what you thought about the whole AI situation and authors' ability to get completely ripped off on their works. Have you thought about that at all?
I'm pretty vocally opposed to it.
Oh, okay.
I think it's not fair. I think as an author, you work hard. You're not here to have your work filtered into an AI little snippet. And
Yeah.
you get no financial compensation for that.
Horrible.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of authors I saw, fighting it early on, trying to sue because it's
Oh,
unauthorized use of their work to
right.
train these AI systems. So yeah, I'm
So
not a
crazy.
fan. I think AI has a place in this world. I think there's certain things that it's great for,
Yeah.
but for creative stuff, no. Like,
I
I'm not a
really
fan.
wish there was a way to get around that, but it just seems like if you put it out digitally anyway, it's going to be
Yeah.
downloaded. And I'm glad someone is taking the steps to sue about it because there's got to be a way to stop it.
It's got to be more the big name authors,
Hmm.
I think need to get more involved, kind of
Yeah,
like watching how musicians fight
right.
Ticketmaster. I mean,
Yeah,
it's fine that some smaller, lower level artists are doing it. They have to. They don't have any money, but it would have been nice to have Taylor Swift or the
yeah.
Rolling Stones or,
Stephen
you
King.
know, Steve, yeah, Metallica in the music industry do that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, as far as writers go, yeah, the Stephen Kings, the Colleen Hoovers, the like modern
Yes.
writers that are hugely popular
Hmm.
and people would listen. But
Right.
you're fighting a gigantic money-making machine, and we all
Yeah.
know how that goes.
Right.
So
Well, and I've started reading the last author. I interviewed John McGorn's book, and it's pretty scary how this stuff gets taken over. So,
I
uh,
saw that one. I watched that, and then yeah, when he was talking about that, I'm like, I think I need to read that one, although it'll probably just piss me off more than I already am.
yeah, the
And
anxiety level does not go
yeah,
down when you read this book,
no,
but it's pretty imaginative, and he's a master at that suspense and dystopian age. So, get the book, John McGorn,
I'll
The
check
Price of
it.
Everything. And the name of
Okay,
your book, one more time, is
better than fine
Better Than Fine. Okay.
for
So how
now.
yeah.
It
Well,
might change.
true.
I don't know. That's my working
Evolution.
title.
There
Yeah.
we go. That's cool. So how can people find you and your work? Do you put any writing out there, or is it just something that you're kind of keeping close to your chest right now until it gets published? Or is there Instagram works or TikTok stuff that people can find you and your work?
I do have a writer one. I need to start using it more. I've done a little bit on it, but that's called Shelley Logan is a writer,
Okay.
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah, so I like to put like visuals, like photos, in whatever my inspiration was for
Cool.
something,
Yeah.
and maybe a little snippet of the writing. But I haven't done that in a little while. I need to get back to it.
Yeah, I know all that is.
Yeah, it's hard because again, you do get very paranoid about what
Hmm.
happens to your stuff when you put it out like that.
That's
But
true.
I guess we all have to do it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
um, what's to stop anybody? All the samples I've sent out, random,
Plagiarizing. Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
So, not that I'm thinking like I'm so fantastic, everyone's gonna try and steal my shit, but
You don't know
I
until
don't
you get it out
know.
there. That's right.
It's a different angle on a romance than what's kind of actively out there right now.
Yeah,
But
that's great.
I mean, that's good. That's what I wanted. I wrote the book I wanted to read, and
Yes,
that's always been
it's
something I've
huge.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
I
you
love that.
enjoy reading it, and you better enjoy reading it because you're going to read it 50 million times while you're editing it. But
Yeah.
that's why
Like
you
it
said when
now or
you,
throw it out. Yeah.
yeah, when you went back to yours, you're like, I'm proud of this. See, there you go. You
Yeah.
are already going the right way. So,
With that first draft,
yeah,
just a mess, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah.
that's how
I'll
they're
figure it
supposed
out.
to be. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Now, you said you had some history of writing in your ancestry. So, who else is a writer in your family?
My grandpa, my mom's dad was
Mom's dad.
he was the artist.
Oh,
Um, I mean, we had some. His brother, my uncle, was an artist as well. He did like
nice.
wood carvings and stuff like that. And then my grandpa, yeah, he wrote a book. I remember as a kid
It's wild.
watching him write this book, and as a kid, you have no idea what goes into writing a book.
No.
And that was old school days of a typewriter and paper.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember when he finished it, and it was,
Right,
this
a
big
stack.
stack of papers. I
Yeah.
never read it. I never knew what happened to it over the years.
That's got to
He
tug
would,
on your heart a little bit.
it does now, especially,
Yeah.
it would have been nice to know what happened to it. Like, I don't have much of a relationship with my family,
Okay.
especially not extended family.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened to any of that stuff after he passed. I have a
Right.
couple of uncles, and I don't know if one of them had it or at some point it just got destroyed. I have no idea. No clue.
Which is kind of sad. There's probably some family member somewhere that has a copy of it or knows of its
Yeah.
existence, and then it just goes into infamy, and nobody sees it. And then I just think that's kind of a cool thought too, a cool story that this book is just going to drop into somebody's lap, and they're going to read
Hmm.
it and go, oh, but they're related to this person and that person, and she's a writer. And I wonder if they knew that this
That would
man,
be a good one. Yeah.
what's your grandfather's name?
His name was Lawrence Brandt. And
Brandt.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Lawrence Brandt.
yeah.
So, calling
Um,
all readers out there,
if we
if you
see
see
anything
it,
by Lawrence Brandt, reach out to me on Instagram and tell me about it.
yes, please.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know because I remember last time I saw my grandma, I didn't even think to ask about the book, but
yeah.
she had a bunch of photos, and I'm glad I went when I did because she sent me home with a bunch of old family photos.
That's
And
fun.
yeah, I have one hanging in my hallway that I love. It's of like aunts, uncles, all that in front of this big craftsman house they used to have in Seattle. And
Oh, fun.
it's such a cool picture, and I'm glad I got that stuff from her. And but she did have some legitimate artwork from a couple of well-known Alaskan artists,
Ooh,
and I don't know
fun.
what happened to any of it. It's
Yeah,
makes me sad,
I
um,
bet. I
but
bet.
I don't know what happened to the book because my grandpa had died a few years before my grandma did, so
Okay.
I don't know. But it
And
would be interesting.
your ancestry in Alaska does it go back generations?
No, I think it's just my grandparents.
Okay.
My dad's dad was in the Navy, ended up there.
Okay.
I think when he retired from the Navy, he was a ferry boat captain.
Oh, all right.
So he was doing that for a long time. And
Good business there.
yes, yeah. And my grandpa, my mom's dad, he just went up there. I think he just went up there for work, for construction type stuff. I don't know. He was always full of stories. My grandpa
Yeah,
was always had stories.
that's fun.
And but it was like I was young, and we didn't really
Yeah,
talk a whole lot as I got older
yeah,
to for me to ask questions,
mm,
and
yeah.
it's stuff I regret now that I didn't ask
Sure.
more questions.
Yeah, right.
There's things you want to know that I wish I would have just asked about that,
Yep, yep.
but because he was a talker, he loved to tell stories. He was all about the stories. So and
Oh,
he
there
had a
you
lot of them.
go. Yeah.
He loved to reach out to, like, he had a relationship, or he liked to think he did, but he would reach out to him, and he actually got a letter back from the newscaster Tom Brokaw back in the
Oh,
day.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He really
That's
liked him, and
fantastic.
he
Hmm.
sent him a letter once, and if I recall, he got one back, and he was very proud of that.
That's
So
very
yeah,
cool. From one storyteller to another. That's awesome.
exactly, exactly.
That's got to feel good.
Yeah.
So, is there anybody or any characters that you ever write about that ancestors or relatives kind of filter into your characters at all?
Um, Not too much family, probably a lot of friends I've known, but not
Okay.
my family too much. I have a great relationship with my dad right now.
All right.
And my mom passed away a few years ago, and
Sorry.
she had MS, so she wasn't
Oh,
well for a lot of years.
brutal.
So no, not
No.
really. Um,
Because I
I had to,
always, in my story, I had this antagonist that is the spitting image of my aunt.
oh,
And
now you're
man,
making me want to think about that. Maybe I did it subconsciously. I don't know.
you should think about that. I just thought that was so funny because we had such a love hate relationship with this one aunt, most of the family anyway, because she too was a storyteller and high class, and her husband was ex FBI, so they had a lot of
Uh,
connections and interesting stories. And so she knew how to tell a story so she could captivate you. But then she turned out to be such not a nice person, so
mm,
and wasn't very nice to my mom who took care of her. So
oh,
it's that kind of thing where you're like, you know what? I'm going to just type this lady out of my head.
yeah.
There she is,
That's
the evil.
yeah. I'll have to think about that. I tend
Yeah.
to, with the new one I'm working on, I feel like the parents are idealized. I think I idealize
Okay.
parents maybe more.
Sure.
I was close with my friends' parents, or I'd see
Oh,
their parents as being what I wanted my family to be like. And I think a
yes.
lot of people who come from divorce and
Mm-hmm.
all that tend to
Mm-hmm.
do that. You see somebody and you think, oh, their family's perfect. There's no such thing, but
Right.
in your
Right.
mind, you're like, I
Mm-hmm.
want more of this and less of that. So I
For
think
sure.
sometimes I idealize certain characters like that, I
Well,
guess.
what do you think is one of the most positive things that you might have gotten from, let's start with your mom? Is there something characteristic of your mother that you would want to put into a story, into a protagonist?
She did love to read. My mom could be a fun person to be around when things were going well for her. I always remember learning, probably this is where I learned to love food, was through my mom. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we'd eat out a lot or stop and grab snacks. And yeah, she was a big reader until the MS really got her later on. But yeah, I
How
credit
old was
her with
she
that. Um,
when she got the MS?
oh gosh, I don't know. She was in and out of hospitals a lot when I was a kid,
Okay.
and
Well,
knowing
when you
what
were
I
a
know,
kid? Okay.
yeah, I think she was officially diagnosed when I was like 11 or 12,
Oh gosh.
but I know she had issues and no one knew what they were. Knowing what I know about MS now and
Mm-hmm.
how she would have been treated, they thought it was all in her head.
Oh,
And yeah,
that's.
so when she was finally diagnosed, I always remember that because my
Mm-hmm.
grandma was crying and so upset. My mom was like, no, no, now everybody knows it's
Ah.
something real. And I remember it was almost a relief for her
I bet.
to
That's
be told,
huge.
yeah, because MS is a weird, I don't know how much you know about it, but the way it affects you, and it's different
Mm-hmm.
for everybody.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
have attacks. Some days you're good, some days you're not so good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so she was in and out of hospitals a lot,
Wow.
like twice, I remember when I was a kid, and stuff like that. I wish I would have asked more questions, but
Mm-hmm.
again,
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
was a kid
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't know how honest anyone would be with me now.
Right.
So
Right.
I remember that she was relieved when she
Okay.
was diagnosed, but she was always, when things were going good, she could be a fun person to be with
Yeah.
and would
Yeah.
take us to the movies and take us out to eat and give us books to read and stuff like that. So she
Get
was
your
always fun that way.
imagination going. That's
She
wonderful.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
she
That's
did.
huge. Good.
Yeah.
Anything from your dad,
Um,
antagonist or protagonist, that you don't want
yeah.
to dive into too much? But there's.
I, it tends to be important to me that my male characters really listen. I don't feel
There you
like my
go.
dad always often listened to me, which
Okay.
I don't, probably not uncommon for
Mm.
girls
Yep.
when,
Yeah.
especially when my parents got divorced,
Mm.
they weren't listening. I mean, I was like classic Gen X here when you see those videos where they talk about how you're neglected. I don't know if that's the right word, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we were pretty much left to our own devices in a lot of ways,
Interesting.
and it's true. It's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't have much there.
Okay. Nothing as far as going into the characters, but you did decide that your male characters, because of your past experience, needed to have this characteristic. So
Yeah,
it's,
they need to listen.
yeah.
You need to feel heard. I think that's huge in
Mm-hmm.
any relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yeah.
And which brings us to the whole family dynamic thing, is that these perspectives that each of us get through our own experiences throughout life, as I said and talked with my niece Anne, those layers and filters happen so personally, so differently in every family situation, because every person's got a different way of relating to their son, their daughter, their mother, their father, brother, sister, kind of
Hmm.
thing, that some things just stick in your brain as to, okay, if I'm going to write this story, I want A, B, C, and D to be sure and be thought of as respected or
Hmm.
feared or whatever. But I think family dynamics play a role in how we perceive any kind of character that we want to build, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I have my friend, she's much braver that way, is
Mm-hmm.
very open with how she creates her characters and how she writes very personally in a way
Ah.
that I don't know that I'm ready to yet. But
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
plus, there's just certain things like writing and reading were like, I wasn't escape from what was happening.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I tend to just view it as therapy, like
Mm-hmm.
the good place. I want to
Mm-hmm.
go here. These are I want to hang out with my characters. I create,
Yeah,
the characters I would want to be friends with or hang out with or be like or something. I
for
mean,
sure.
the protagonist.
Yep.
Antagonists come from, yeah, something else, and it's usually not my family too much. Or
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I don't know.
Haven't dove into that yet.
I
That's fine.
haven't.
But it might affect it, influence it just a little bit.
It could. There's things like usually it's a moment and it's something that's happened to me that I'll have it happen to my characters and have them,
Yeah.
how do they react to it? Was it different than how I did, or are they reacting the way I wish I would have?
Right.
That kind of thing. So,
Yeah, I love it.
but yeah, it definitely contributes for sure. I think it does.
All right, so let's just put this out into the universe. After your books get published, and I did put an S on the end of books.
And you said when. I like that.
When?
Yes.
I'm hoping you will find the time to come back in celebration and talk on the podcast again.
Of course, I will consider it good luck. You're sending me good juju.
There
So
you go.
I'll take that. I'll
So
take
listeners,
that.
let's put this on the calendar.
Yes,
Make sure.
that's the
Shelley,
goal.
Logan. All right, cool. All right, and that's a wrap on today's episode of Family Dynamic Conversations podcast. A huge thanks to my friend Shelley. Thank you for your time and thoughts on writing and editing and getting it published, because that's not an easy task, as I know you know. And so, if you've laughed, if you've nodded in agreement, if you have said to yourself, wow, that's really relatable, mission accomplished first. Secondly, don't forget to follow, subscribe, share. Oh, would it be wonderful to share? Or listen on whatever app or social media you're listening to. And give us a little 5-star rating, because, we're pretty fragile. All of us are very fragile humans in this chaotic world we live in right now. So a little bit of a thumbs up goes a long way. Thank you. So until next time, call your mom or text your sibling, or just say hi to a friend that you haven't talked to for a while. Let them know you're still thinking about them, and ask those questions that we forgot to ask, and just see what's going on in their life right now. What's special? What's cool? What's exciting? And until next time, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you.
Have a great night, and we'll see you all next time. Bye for now.
Bye.